Welcome to the You World Order Showcase Program, the platform dedicated to highlighting visionary entrepreneurs and coaches who are shaping the You World economy. Each week, we're celebrating the power of the individual and coming together to uplift and empower one another to reach new heights of growth and prosperity as we showcase a coach, company, or entrepreneur stepping out to be the change they want to see in the world. With our collective efforts, we're creating a world where every person has the tools to realize their full potential and thrive like never before. Join us today as we chat with this week's guest to learn how they got started, what they're doing, and how they're making a difference in shaping the You World Order.
Hello, and welcome to the You World Order Showcase Program. Today we're talking with Nikki Burnett, and she's a functional nutritionist, health detective, founder of Taste Life Nutrition, and creator of Soulfull Conception, purposeful living for a healthy body, a healthy pregnancy, and healthy baby. She is also the host of Taste Life Nutrition radio and podcast, which streams live every Thursday at 10 a.m. Mountain. With nearly a decade in practice and 25 years of study, Nikki has helped hundreds of clients rediscover their health after suffering with complicated health conditions such as chronic pain, fatigue, brain fog, autoimmune conditions, and fertility struggles, which is affected by all of these. Nikki digs to find the root cause of dysfunction and then addresses it in a step-by-step, manageable, strategic, methodical manner to allow for repair, balance, and the ability to thrive. When you're thriving, life is taken to the very next level. Nikki cares about helping people live to the fullest expression of themselves and believes that when we are empowered by understanding the body and its needs with freedom from debilitating symptoms, we can live the exceptional lives we were meant to live. Health is wealth, as they say, and Nikki's clients often undergo transformational experiences that contribute to lifelong health and wellness. There is a realization that we have an amazing amount of control over our health and our future, and we don't have to succumb to our family history of disease. We do have control over our genetic destiny. For those seeking to have children, preconception planning can create optimal health that contributes to the health of 7 generations to come. We have an amazing impact on the future of health. For Nikki, after suffering from a 2-year headache that affected every part of her life and dealing with the frustrations of feeling helpless with no answers, she decided to take her health into her own hands. Over time and consistent research into many health modalities, Nikki became her own health detective and found the answers she so desperately needed. Today, Nikki lives with optimal, empowering, amazing life, which drives her to help others to dig deep and achieve their health goals. She works with her clients as their partners, taking the complicated and making it simple through the baby steps and sustainable changes. Food is life. Taste life. With that, let's welcome Nikki Burnett.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to the You World Order Showcase Program, Nikki. You were starting to get right into it, and I just wanted to get it on record. So go.
I'm sorry. I get a little wound up about this stuff, and
I know. I love your passion.
Thanks. Well, first, thanks for having me. I love what you're doing. I love what you're about. But what I was kind of getting into was just that, is that we speak the same language, because before you started recording, what you said was it's important to get out there what people don't know about, because there's so much out there that people don't know about. And I say a lot that's part of what I do too, and what my show is about is getting people to think outside the conventional. When something's going on, they're like, okay, I need to make an appointment with my doctor. And my thought is, okay, great, but what else is there? What else might be able to be helpful for you? Because there are so many people out there who are of service, who are doing amazing things that we don't know about, that the world doesn't know about, that the world needs to know about. So thank you for what you're doing and for having me on. And we, like I said, we speak the same language.
So where did you get started, and why did you decide to do what you're doing? And just tell us all the stuff, because you do a lot of different things, all really important.
Well, thanks. Kind of, yes, but they all sort of go together too. So in my bio, I'll tell you what it says, because, it's a little bit new for me, but it's, I'm a functional nutritionist, health detective, founder of Taste Life Nutrition, and creator of Soulfull Conception, purposeful living for a healthy body, a healthy pregnancy, and a healthy baby. And so that's sort of in a nutshell who I am and what I do. But historically, my life has been in, a lot of the medical world. I guess I started out in natural health. And that's sort of what brought me to this, 25 years ago or whatever it's been at this point, but moved from that into the medical world, which was pharmaceuticals, it was surgical devices, it was business development, it was medical journals, and, all of these different areas of the medical world, which I'm grateful for. But I knew that I wasn't a part of it. Do you know what I mean? It was, yeah. And I'll say, as much as I did not like being in pharmaceuticals, I loved being in surgical devices. I mean, that was really cool to be in surgery and watch the amazing things that we have access to and that we can do to help people who are struggling. And it was a lot of, so it was laparoscopic, so it was a lot of women's surgeries. And the things that women deal with, and the things, anyway, I'll get sidetracked, but it's beautiful what we can do in conventional medicine. But
conventional medicine is so good at putting together broken pieces.
Yes.
Or fixing things that aren't working quite right. You break your bone, you want to go to your doctor. You have some weird ache and pain, you want to find a coach who's been through that and can help you figure out what's causing that pain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you go to your doctor and he's going to tell you, here's some antidepressants.
Yeah. Here's some pain pills. Here's some antibiotics, And in a nutshell, it's conventional care is amazing at acute care. Less amazing, I believe, at chronic care. And that's so much of what we see today is these chronic conditions that, whether they have a name or a diagnosis or not, it's chronic. It's the chronic brain fog, the chronic pain, the chronic bloating, the chronic heartburn, and all of these things are, here's a pill, here's a pill, here's a pill, here's a pill. And it's not, let's uncover the reason why. And so, what I teach as often as I can is always ask why. If you think you have an answer, continue to ask why. Keep digging. And I continue to learn in, my practice and in my world. And, as I learn from my clients and from teachers, that there's still deeper, there's still more to know. There's still more to learn. There's still more to uncover about what could be going on that creates all of this dysfunction. So you're holistic.
Yeah. That means of the whole.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, oh, my head hurts, I need to take an aspirin. Your head hurts for a reason. Mm-hmm. And it might be because, you did something to your foot.
Yeah,
you don't put it together because, we're not taught to do that. And your doctor's certainly not going to do that because he's not going to have enough time to figure it out.
That's true. And that's the beautiful thing about what we do in the alternative world, if that's what you want to call it, which shouldn't be alternative. It is the more traditional and the historical way of doing things, but we have the time to spend and we want to have the time to spend. And it's our goal to learn and to listen and to help people to uncover, right? So that's why we do what we do, because we want to be able to spend that time. Yeah.
And baby steps.
Yes.
It's not like you're going to turn the fire hose on them and say, do all these things.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't work either.
It doesn't work. I have clients who are so often are, you have to be so frustrated with me. I'm like, no, I'm not. You're fine. You're doing great. Let's just keep going. Yeah, nobody's perfect. I'm certainly not perfect. So, anyway, so real quick, as I moved into finally, leaving, that world, and I just I knew that I was being led, which is really interesting. I knew that there was something pulling me. I'm a Christian, so I knew that God had a path for me, and He was like, okay, you kind of been going all wonky and here and there, but you've learned so much, which I have, and I'm grateful for it, because that's, it's the hard stuff for the great stuff, and all of the things from the past that have brought me here today, which is really fun to look back and pay attention to all of that. But as I moved into nutrition school and kind of figuring out what I wanted to do, I worked a lot with autoimmune conditions and GI dysfunction, because everywhere is autoimmune conditions and GI dysfunction. I mean, this is what it is. At the same time, though, I knew from undergrad and grad school, I fell in love with reproductive physiology, which is, super sciencey, but it's really about the miracle of birth. It's about the miracle of creation. It's about how we can come together and make little humans. I mean, we have this miracle that happens.
Any more special than that?
I know. It's beautiful. And we experience miracles every single day. And outside of creation, I think we do. I mean, you look outside at the trees that are blooming. It's a miracle. It's beautiful. I mean, all of these perfect little things have to happen in order for everything to happen as it does. And it's miraculous. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So what I had noticed while working with people, specifically women, was they're like, I have these things and I have this stuff going on and I don't know what to do about it. And then one day I want to get pregnant and I can't get pregnant and have to deal with all of this stuff at the same time. So it just sort of really, again, it's just that being led and which I fully believe is what is happening, is all of the beautiful things that I love about nutrition, about health, about wellness, about creation, about epigenetics, which plays a huge role in this, and I'll jump on, but has all kind of come together in what I'm calling soulful conception. And if I need to stop, please interrupt me, because I know that I just sort of go.
Go.
So it's this amazing thing, two amazing things that sort of changed my world in nutrition, that I just went, holy smokes, this is amazing. One of those was the realization of what food actually is, right? And so we see food, we have this relationship with food, and some of us love it and some of us hate it. And some of us don't know why it hates us, because we feel bad and we break out, or whatever the case may be. We don't understand food. But you take all of that stuff away, food at its core is a language, right? So it talks to our cells, it talks to our DNA, and it literally tells our body what to do. So if we're eating good, healthy food, the body's like, I got this, let's go, I know what I'm supposed to do. But if we eat food that is from the fast food or the you name the place,
food,
right?
It's just edible.
Exactly. It's full of the preservatives and the chemicals and the toxins and the pesticides.
It will kill you. It is poison, but it might not happen tomorrow. But
over time, exactly. And what it's doing when we eat it is it just sends a really broken language, a broken line of communication, right? It's like speaking Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. And so if you're speaking to me in Spanish, I'm like, I don't know what you're telling me to do. What are you trying to tell me to do? And so I get confused and I get lost and then I get mad, right? and that's what happens, is the body just gets mad. It's like, all right, so I'm going to knock on your door right now and I'm going to tell you that you have this headache because I'm angry, or you have this brain fog or this bloating because I'm angry, and I need for you to pay attention to what's going on and stop taking pills, right? The other thing that changed my world is epigenetics and the understanding of epigenetics, which most of it really is way over my head. But the beautiful thing, and I feel like this is kind of where we connect, is where epigenetics. So let me back up just a little bit. So we have our genome, our human genome was mapped out like in 2000 or 2001 or something. And the thought was, okay, that's who we are and that's what we are and that's all there is to it. Then there's the discovery of the epigenome. So epi meaning on top of. So we have these locations on genes that turn on and off. And the most amazing thing about it, as you know, is they turn on and off due to lifestyle factors. So our genes express based on the food we eat, the rest we get or don't get, this trauma we deal with or don't deal with, the stress we deal with or don't deal with, the sleep, all of these things we have so much control over. So it puts the accountability on us. It puts the power in our hands, which is even better. So accountability can be scary, right? It's, oh, I'm accountable, and it can be really hard. And it's hard to be accountable, but it's life, right? But it is empowering. It's the amazing amount of power that we have to control what we put in our body, what we put on our body and in our environment. And then what has all brought this together into Soulfull Conception is the health that we have today, or at the point that we get pregnant, and this is men and women, it affects 7 generations down. Talk about impactful and empowering. We're in a situation right now of crazy illnesses and fears and all of these things, and we don't really understand it, and that's disempowering. We're sitting here going, I don't know what to do about it. When we do know what to do about it, we have the ability as each individual to create the health of the future. It's fascinating.
It is totally fascinating. So it is really nurture and nature.
Yes.
Because you have control over it.
Mm-hmm.
If you choose to take control over it. And
that's the key.
Power back by asking those silly questions like, why? Why is this hurting?
Mm-hmm.
And what message am I trying to be told?
Yeah. Yeah. We have forgotten how to listen to our bodies. You know, historically as humans, you know, pre-industrial revolution, right? That's what we did, is we listened to our bodies, and we ate things that would control microbes, and that we don't eat anymore. And we would do
seasonally and locally.
Yeah, exactly. And those aren't things that we do anymore. You know, food is picked way before it's supposed to be ripened. And so we're not getting the nutrient density. On top of that, we're not getting the nutrient density because our soils are depleted. I know that you know a lot of this. You're a homesteader, correct?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's amazing. So, you know, getting back to, which is a great thing, you know, the farming, what am I thinking of? Where's my words?
Fixing the soil.
Fixing the soil, but there's a word for the farming methods that we're doing that are working with the soil, working with the ground, working with the environment. Regenerative.
There you go.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, it happens to me all the time. I know. I got that word. It's on the tip of my tongue.
It's there somewhere. I got it. But, you know, it's the regenerative farming methods. It's taking care of the soil. It's taking care of the animals who are our, you know, I believe that, and I say this a lot, but I truly believe that that we're here to serve animals. We're here to take care of them, give them what they need, love on them, especially when it comes to those that feed us, because those that feed us, they're giving back to us. They're serving us.
There's a difference in taste in food now versus when I was younger. And I can give you 2 examples. Chicken is one. Chicken tastes vastly different today than it did when I was a teenager. And the other is the case of the cow. I and a friend of mine, we raised some cows, some cattle, some steers to butcher. But those cattle were loved on and petted and played with. And I mean, it got to the point where this friend of mine, her foot was broken because the cow was trying to jump on her because he loved her so much, and he just wanted to play with her, and he broke her foot.
Amazing. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's kind of amazing.
But they did get butchered,
Mm-hmm.
but the meat was so good because they didn't watch the other one get killed.
Yeah.
So it didn't have that adrenochrome rush that happens when animals are killed. And the animals that we normally get in the grocery store, the meat that we get in the grocery store, those animals have witnessed the death of everybody in front of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I also think that if people butchered their own meat, like I've butchered chickens and processed them, we would eat far less meat.
Yeah. 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 And I agree with you. And I think that, that's a hard thing for me, because I always tell my husband he's the hunter, I'm the cooker, because I'm like, you hunt, I don't want to do the killing. but I believe that we are responsible for they shouldn't suffer, right? And that's our responsibility, that they should not suffer. No animals should suffer. I mean, it's awful what the conventional animal farming, the CAFOs do. It's really disgusting. And what we need to understand, beyond the flavor of the meat and, the hormones and the junk that happens when they go through this process. But the animals that are conventionally farmed, raised, right? They're not farmed, they're ranched, I guess, but they're these conventional animals, when they're taken off grass, it changes their biochemistry. So all of the goodness that they're supposed to be giving to us, the conjugated linoleic acid, the healthy omega-3s and the healthy omega-6s, but in the right ratios, they're completely wonky. So what does that do? We are then eating inflammation, we're eating obesity, we're eating the bad hormones, we're eating whatever else they're doing to the animals at that time. They're not supposed to eat corn. They're not supposed to eat grain. This is not healthy for them. So, and a lot of people are like, well, it doesn't really matter because we're just eating the meat. Well, that meat has taken up, it doesn't have the omega-3, so it has too much omega-6. So it's an inflamed animal. It's an unhealthy animal. It's like, I think in 2 weeks, and you may know this better than I, but the stat is they increase weight in 2 weeks by like 30%. And so it's this amazing inflamed obese animal that we eat. So we're eating inflammation, which is going to create inflammation, right? We're eating the omega-6, which creates too much inflammation. We don't get the conjugated linoleic acid, which doesn't allow for our bodies to be lean, right? That's what CLA does. It creates leanness of muscles, and that's what cows can give us if we allow them to. So it's sad. What they do to chickens is horrible. What they do to pigs is mind blowing. So
pigs are really intelligent creatures too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And to think that it's okay to have them for the entirety of their lives confined where they don't move, and to believe that that's a healthy animal that we should eat is sad and disgusting. And it's a matter of us standing up, having the knowledge, right? A lot of people just don't have the knowledge that this is going on, and that it really is biochemistry. It really is, eating these animals is creating dysfunctional health for us. But, standing up, and I'm not talking about, the crazies, but I just mean standing up and saying, this is not okay. This is not okay for us to treat animals this way. It's not okay for us to eat them, because we are losing years on our own lives because of this. And that's what people, I think there's a disconnect there.
And that's kind of why it's important for people to shop local, know your food, and, buy at the farmer's market. Even our fruits and vegetables are starting to get tainted with stuff. The GMOs and the... heard about the label thing?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what I believe about that, but I'm certainly not interested in having it on the food that I'm going to eat, whether it's bad or not. It's just like, I just don't trust it anymore. I don't trust the food system. So
no. One of my favorite things, I'm not a great gardener, but I do love gardening. And I still have one package of leftover, like tomatoes and tomatillos that I put together from the end of the year last year, in my freezer. And it's really fun to have from my garden that is as ripe as some of them were green actually, because it was the end of the year, but to have your ripe food. And I'm going to ask you this. I keep asking this question because I can't find where I saw it, and maybe you know it. I don't know. There is some kind of a component molecule, something that is in a fully ripe plant, fully ripe fruit or vegetable that is not there when it's not ripe. And it's a super healthy something. I don't even know what it is, but if we're not eating basically off of the vine, we're not getting this healthful component. And I can't remember what it is. I need to find it. So have you heard of anything about this?
I don't know what it is that you're talking about, but I do know that optimum nutrition in anything, fruits, vegetables, even animals. I mean, there's a cycle for everything, and you should be eating it during the cycle when it's peak nutrition. And we shouldn't be eating the same thing all year long.
Right.
Like tomatoes are ripe, when they get ripe. Different areas and for different people, or different times for different areas. But you just eat them during that time, and then the next thing becomes ripe. And that's what you eat. And then the next thing, and then the next thing. And so you kind of go through the whole cycle. And you can store some stuff for the winter, but in the winter, you're going to be eating a lot of meat. But that's how it used to be.
Well, you eat meat, you eat potatoes, you eat, winter squashes, those things that are hearty and warming, right? Yeah.
And if people did more of that, they would find that their health would improve quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because they're not eating things out of season when they're not really giving your body the information that it needs to process it properly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. And, another thing is, when we eat a lot of people are like, well, I don't eat a lot of vegetables, but I eat a lot of fruit. Okay, well, fruit's great, but I think that that's a problem. We're not meant to eat a lot of fruit. Fruit is still sugar. It's all the other great things too, right? So I'm not saying fruit is bad. And it also depends on the person. If you're dealing with blood sugar imbalances, then maybe you need to avoid fruit and have a few berries. But, living in Colorado, which is where I live, and eating pineapple, and I do sometimes, but not very often, but it's delicious, but it's not really intended, right? And it's not intended, because I'm in Colorado. Another really interesting point that is sort of hard to work through, but I think about this, I'm a mutt, genetically I'm a mutt, right? And so I have, all kinds of things in me. When we were created, we had the food that we were supposed to eat in that location, based on who we are and our genetics and our makeup. But now everybody, for the most part, everybody's a mutt. And so it's super interesting to think of understanding your history, your genetic history, your ancestry, and eating based on your ancestry. If possible, which I think is super cool. And I have thought about trying that because mine's like Irish and English and that kind of thing, which is a lot of really heavy food.
I wonder though, if it isn't a case of when you live someplace for a certain amount of time that your body, it's like temperature. Your body acclimates to whatever temperature of the place that you're living. Like I'm sure for you, I know for me, absolutely. Going to Arizona in the summertime is like hell on earth. It is just so hot.
Yeah.
I live in Idaho. I've lived in Idaho for like 20 years now. And I lived in Colorado before that. So there's similar temperatures.
Yeah.
It gets hot in the summer and it's cold in the winter. But, hot for us is like 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Hot there is like, 120.
Yeah.
That's just like close the oven door.
You're right.
But you get acclimated to it. Like the first few winters I was here was really cold.
Mm-hmm.
And people that come from Arizona here in the wintertime, it's like unbearable. When it gets to be 60, they're putting their down coats on.
Yeah.
We're laughing at them.
Yeah. Yeah. I follow you. And I think there is something to it, but our location doesn't change our genetics. Right. And so,
well, I'm wondering if the epigenetics thing doesn't kind of kick in, because epigenetics is, it's like layered on top of the DNA. So, different switches in terms of what we should be eating for the environment that we're in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
It's interesting, and I don't fully know. I love having the conversation because it's interesting and it's intriguing and makes me want to go do more digging. I love researching and digging and learning and understanding it, right? Even if there's so much that I don't know and don't understand, I'm like, I can sure try. But
yeah, I'm just here to throw you out some questions.
Yeah. No, I love it. Yeah, ask me why. Yep. Let's go find out.
Yeah. So, what is the one thing that you want everyone to know about? I want to talk about your radio show that you do, because I think it's really important. I would listen to the last one that you did. It was really fascinating. But please don't quiz me about it.
Oh, I won't.
I listen to so much stuff that I sometimes
I get it.
Get off on track. But it's really, what you're doing is really powerful and reaching a lot of people. So tell us about that.
So it's interesting because, most people have podcasts and it does become a podcast, but it actually is internet radio. And so we stream it live every, I almost said Wednesday. That's not right. Don't know why that was going to come out. Every Thursday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And it's funny because, for so long I was like, I should have a podcast. Actually, I was afraid to have a podcast. But what I know about me is if I had a podcast and it wasn't set in stone, that I wouldn't do it. Like what you're doing, you've got it and you're going and you're on top of it. If I did not have a weekly appointment to go into the studio to do the radio show, I would do other things. So it really is a lot of fun. We're reaching, 175, maybe more at this point, 1,000 people. So we've got a good reach and growing. I only get quarterly numbers. I'm like, come on, I want more numbers. But it's fun because just as we were talking about in the beginning, my goal with the show, when I started the show, the word that kept coming to me was truth. And that was my word of the year. I started it in 2020. And it was truth. And it was about bringing truth as best as possible, right, to health and wellness, and the truth of, people who are out there to serve, the truth without gimmicks, without fads, without agendas, right, and bring as much truth as I possibly know. I'm certainly not an expert in a lot of things, but I want people to know, like we were talking about the amazing people who are out there who are doing amazing things. And health is, of course, physical, mental, and emotional, but it's also relational and spiritual and financial. And so I want to be as holistic, right, in my approach to bringing on and bringing into the studio these really amazing people. And sometimes it's just me, like last week and this week, it was just me, which is fun. I get to just kind of talk about what I want to talk about. But it really is, my hope is to reach people and open minds, or just allow them to find what maybe they don't know they're missing. Maybe they don't know they need. And that's what I hope for with this show. And so
even just like 1%,
just
that one nugget that could change somebody's life or get them on the trajectory to health.
Yeah. Whatever it takes, because we're in a pretty scary place right now. And so, it's whatever it takes to help in whatever manner, and if it's from me, great. If it's from somebody else, great, good. That's what I hope for. And so with that, we then turn it into the Taste Life Nutrition podcast. And so obviously you can find it on anywhere you find a podcast, and you can find it on Facebook, and you can find it on YouTube. And I'm working on getting it all on Rumble. I dig Rumble. So, it's been fun. It's been 3.5 years now of going, having some fun.
That's really impressive.
Thanks.
That's really impressive. And we will put the links down below in the description so people can tune in. And do you have a website? Do you offer consults?
Yeah.
What do you got going on there?
Yeah. So I have a website. It's just everything is Taste Life Nutrition. So you'll find me Taste Life Nutrition everywhere. So that's the website, tastelifenutrition.com. Interestingly, what I learned yesterday is I had on the website an assessment. It's a free assessment that anybody can go in and fill out. And I reach out to you personally and we chat about it. And if I can help, great. If somebody else can help, that's great also. For some reason, it's not there. So I need to get it put back up. I don't know what happened to it.
Gremlins.
I guess. I don't know. But I've been wondering why nobody's reaching out. I'm like, wait a minute, there's nothing on the website. So it will be there. If it's not there today, check back tomorrow, check back next week, but feel free to fill it out. It's in depth enough where it's looking at the different body functions to gain some insight without, actually going in and running labs and all the things that I do with clients. But it can really give some insight as to what might be going on and how we might be able to address it, whether it's big or little or whatever. I try to do my best to meet people where they are in any situation. So and then the podcast is Taste Life Nutrition. The show is Taste Life Nutrition. I try to keep it pretty simple because I need simplicity.
Yeah, don't we all? Is there one thing that you really hope people will take away from this conversation today?
The power is in your hands. I think that's really as simple as it is take to heart and know that literally you have so much power to make change, to create health, to whatever it is that is your thing. You may be as healthy as you can possibly be and everything's perfect, but the power is yours to keep it there. The power is yours to make it better. Whatever it is, we have it. And if you don't feel it, if you don't know it, the other thing that I like to tell people is to find your team. We all need a team of people to help us, to build us up, to lift us up, because those who are building and lifting us up allow us then to reach down and help and to lift and to build. And that's really what it's all about. And so build your team of people around you who are there to support you, whether they're medical professionals, mental and emotional professionals, if it's, like your financial professionals, whatever it is, you need your people who are there, who are true to you and have your best interest at heart. And sometimes we find out that that's not the case and we have to move in different directions, but, interview your practitioners. Make sure that they are okay with, especially if you're dealing with something chronic, make sure that they're okay with consulting with and co-managing and talking with, whatever the case may be, other practitioners on your behalf so you can all work together to get you where you need to be.
Sage advice for sure. Thank you so much, Nikki, for joining us.
Thank you. It was really fun. I loved this. So I thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to the You World Order Showcase program. We hope today's episode has inspired you to consider how you can leverage your unique skills and talents to be the change you want to see in the world. If you're ready to take the next step and turn your passion into a 5-figure part-time business, we invite you to schedule a private consult at heartlifecoach.com. During our Passion to Profit Breakthrough session, we'll work together to identify your strengths, clarify your vision, and develop a tailored plan for achieving your goals. Don't settle for mediocrity or let fear hold you back from pursuing your dreams. With the right guidance and support, you can build a thriving business that brings you joy, financial freedom, and the opportunity to make a positive impact in the world. Head over to heartlifecoach.com today to schedule your Passion to Profit Breakthrough session and take the first step towards creating the life you've always wanted. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on the You World Order Showcase program.